In the last 7 months, I've made over $1.1 million in luxury real estate without owning a single property. And before that, I was managing a $100 million portfolio that was generating over $15 million in revenue per year. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make $20, $30, or even $50,000 per month in real estate without owning a single property or putting any money down. How do you do it? Through something called luxury property management. I'm going to show you exactly how to get into this and start making $2,000 to $5,000 per night in your city in the next 30 days using our 3-step framework called the F.P.B method. Those steps are find a villa, prep the villa, book the villa. Now, all you have to do is find a villa, help the owner list it for short-term rents, and then get paid 10 to 30% of revenue for managing the entire process. Now, millions of people are trying to make money with Airbnb management or Airbnb arbitrage, yet there's an entire market out there that's completely untapped. Now, I'm going to cover as much as I can in this video, but if you want to just plug and play my exact systems that will literally guarantee you $10,000 to $30,000 per month in the next 30 to 90 days, then click the link below to apply. I'll also give you my entire 300-point checklist that I use to determine whether a villa is up to par. Now let's get into it. So first things first, what you want to do is you want to actually find your villa. So I use websites like Zillow, and that's the easiest way to actually look for a villa. There's company websites like For Sale by Homeowner, and those are ones that I would avoid because you do not want to reach out to homeowners that list themselves as the realtor of their own properties. It just doesn't turns out good. If someone's trying to save 3% on a sale or a rental, that means that they are cheap and they do not want your business. So avoid those people. So we're going to actually click and focus on a specific city. In this example, we're going to focus on Miami. So Miami is a huge city. As you can see, there are a lot of options that are for sale, but now we are going to slim those options down to the specific criteria that we're looking for. So there's different things that we look for. There's the number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms. You want to obviously max those out. The reason why you want to max out the bedrooms and you don't want to go for low bedroom count is because you have to keep in mind the more beds equals more heads equals more money. So when you have a 5-bedroom home and let's say it usually there's 1 bed per room, that means that the house sleeps 10 people. Now, if there's a 4-bedroom, but one of the bedrooms has enough space for 2 queens, then it could still sleep 10. That's also an okay property. But the best thing ever, the best scenario and the best type of property that you want to look for are ones that are like 5 bedrooms and above. So in this case, we're going to slim it down from 5+ and 4+ bathroom. Also home type, we're going to stick only to houses. And then we're going to go a little bit more, and we do not want anything on the auction. Well, maybe we do want stuff on the auction, but we do not want anything coming soon. So now we're going to actually deselect owner posted and obviously agent listed. That is completely fine. So these are the options that we're looking for. Now it's important that you find the short-term rental laws in your city. It's simply by just Googling short-term rental laws in X city. So you could see, is there a nightly rate restriction? It depends on what the restriction is on the city. Like for example, the city of Miami Beach has a restriction of 180 night minimum. Also in the city of Key Biscayne, they have a 2-week minimum. So it's important to look for those laws that they have in those cities. Other types of locations, like let's say in Miami Design District or mainland Miami, which is called unincorporated Dade, which means that there is no city attached to the address. That is typically okay for short-term rentals. It's limited based on the neighbors. The neighbors could tell you like, oh no, I don't want it. Doesn't matter. You want to stick with a generally good area. Now, which areas do you want to stick to? You want to stick to an area with a hotspot. So let's say that you pick Los Angeles. You want to pick somewhere in the Hollywood Hills, in Beverly Hills, in West Hollywood. Pick somewhere that is near the center of where everyone goes. For example, in Miami, you want to pick somewhere that is close to downtown Miami or Miami Beach, somewhere along those lines. Maybe you choose to go to Fort Lauderdale, which is up north. Fort Lauderdale up north has Las Olas, which is around it's like a strip and everyone goes to there, and they also have Fort Lauderdale Beach. It's like Miami Beach but in Fort Lauderdale, so that's also a good general area. So you see these are the 7 aisles, and there are many homes to choose from over here. We just scroll down and we find different types of properties that it fits our criteria. Don't try to go for the 40 million, $50 million homes, because you are shooting yourself in the foot. You, one, do not even have the clientele to even put in those homes, and two, you're starting off at the highest level when you got to work your way up. So for you, I would tell you to start with a $2 to $5 million property. So we're going to take the price down from max $5 million, and then we're going to apply that. Now we shot the properties completely down. Now we're just going to look around and find homes that are, you want a home that has a key feature that other people that vacation want to look for. So for example, you want a pool. Maybe you're in Aspen, you want a house that's ski in, ski out. Maybe you're in LA, you want a house on the hills. So these are different key features that you want the property to have in order for people to book it, and you have a better chance at making money with the property. So for example, in Miami, you want something that's more waterfront. So let's try to find something that is more waterfront, even though these landlocked properties are still super nice. For example, this one over here is a modern home. It's listed at 4.9, and you could see that it's been listed for over 6 months on Zillow. They are not selling. This is a perfect example to reach out to this property, because you could see that it is properly furnished and there are 5 bedrooms here. This is a perfect example for a property to reach out to. So what I would do is take the address and go on a public record website for property taxes. If the homeowner pays property tax, then chances are the owner of the property is on the property tax bill. So I'm actually going to do that with you guys. So we're going to go here and search up property taxes in Miami-Dade, because we know what the county is. So then here, well, it's actually property tax search in Miami. So property search, there you go. Now you're going to go here, copy the address, paste it here. There you go. Search. There you go. Now most of these homes are most likely in a corporation or LLC. So this one, Midtown West Properties Incorporated. So then we would just copy and paste that into Google, find the actual homeowner of that. So Midtown West Properties, there you go. Now we can find out that this is the homeowner. Once you find the homeowner, then you would go on a skip tracing website like People Finder or something like that. You would input the name and find the phone number for the homeowner. And once you find the phone number, then you're reaching out to the homeowner in with a pitch that, look, you have your property listed on the market for 182 days. It's sitting empty. Why don't we make money with the property? And why don't I rent out your property, make you money with it? And on top of that, you get a free manager. I'll manage the property for free, and at the same time you make money with the property. Sounds like a win-win. Most of them will say yes, some will say no. Point is that you reach out to these homeowners and you tell them that you're going to start making money with their property, and at the same time be the manager of the home. Most homeowners are okay with this. So it's just a numbers game. You're going to start reaching out to different homeowners and start pitching them the same thing. Before you reach out to the homeowner, you could also run numbers on this. So I would actually go to Airbnb and find exactly, I would see this property is located in Miami Shores, pick out dates in the future, and see what these properties usually go for. Now I'm going to put the same filter, entire home, 5 bedrooms, property type house. And now I'm going to go down to Miami Shores and find what these homes go for. So here we have a 5 bedroom. This house looks a little dookie. Okay, we have a modern house over here. It's landlocked, 5 bedrooms. So this property goes for around $7,000 a night. So I would say on the safe side, I would be around $3,000 a night. This house is on $4,000. So I would be around $3,000 a night. And I would tell the homeowner that I would base this property at around $3,000 per night, which equals X amount per month. It's all about your occupancy. You could work with them on the situation. Let's say that they don't want that many people inside the property, but they just want to help pay their own bills. So you would reach out and you would say, we could keep it at an X amount of occupancy, raise the nightly rate, and then whoever comes, whoever doesn't. But at the same time, now you have a property that you could book. Now, it's very important why we consider this model versus Airbnb arbitrage. So Airbnb arbitrage, let's say that we're going to switch these for rent and we're going to find something that is close for rent. So this house is absolute dog shit and this house is another absolute dog shit. One, you can't rent something that won't compare. Let's go and think creatively. For example, let's go back to the for sale and we're going to go back to the house that we were talking about. Now, let's try to go with the Airbnb arbitrage approach and try to get this house. So this homeowner, scroll down, this homeowner bought the house for 1.1 in 2022. So most likely it was a build. So it was listed for sale at 5.1, price change, year later, 4.95. So around the $5 million mark. So one, this house is a developer. So they're definitely trying to make money with the property. And two, let's look at their costs. So a build like this, usually the price for a mortgage is around $5,000 per $1 million value. So let's say that this property carry cost is around $20,000 to $25,000 per month. So that means in order for them to even make it worth it to do arbitrage, that means that they need to charge at least 30 to 35. Then once you start charging 30 to 35, you need to get in to the property. Let's say you get the property furnished, you would first need to actually pay out of pocket $105,000 before getting into this property. Now, not only that, let's say you're already out $105,000. Let's say in the first month, you already paid the first month, so you're trying to make as much money as possible. But let's say in the second month, you did not make $35,000. Now you need to owe 35 G's to the homeowner, even if you didn't make money. That's why this model that I'm trying to explain to you guys, it's so OP. OP meaning overpowered. This is absolutely an insane model. So now that you understand this model and understand the way that it works, now I'm going to tell you exactly what the objections are from the homeowner, what they would have. So most homeowners are going to say, I don't even know you. I don't even know your company. You don't seem like you have a lot of experience. I don't know who's going to be at the property. I'm trying to have the property for sale. These are all objections that homeowners have. For properties for sale, you could always say that you will work around their schedule. You will work around what day they have showing, and whatever day they have showings, if you book the house and they have a showing, they could simply just reschedule the showing to 2 days later. Or you could have the showing still scheduled, send a free cleaner to the client and tell the client, hey, I just need 10 minutes at the property. The owner is sending a realtor for a quick tour. Some clients say yes, some clients say no. Even with clients that you book and they would say, I don't know who you're putting in my house, you could always say that you always vet the clients and you always make sure the clients are who they are, because you always check their ID. You always have systems in place that goes from villa acceptance forms to in-person check-in. So you always make sure that you are super hands-on and that you always want to set their best foot forward, because at the end of the day, you are trying to protect the property owner's asset, aka the property. At the end of the day, you probably feel like that reaching out to these wealthy homeowners seems a little intimidating, but at the end of the day, they're still human. They've came up just like how you're trying to. So everyone would appreciate the hustle. It's no different than those pressure washers or window cleaner guys that are knocking on doors. All you're doing is reaching out, and on top of that, you're reaching out via phone call. You never have to speak to them again if they say no. It's just that easy. So when you're reaching out to these homeowners, it's simple. You're reaching out and you're telling them, listen, I see that you have your property listed on Zillow for 6 months in this case, or you could just say 187 days and it hasn't sold yet. I'm not a realtor. I'm actually trying to give you a business opportunity. I want to be a partner with you on your property, and I want to bring you short-term rentals that are managed professionally by me in exchange for 20, 30, it doesn't matter. You could always negotiate, depends on you. But I would usually go for 20%. So say in exchange for 20% of revenue, and on top of that, you get a free manager, aka me, and I will manage the property from A to Z using a 300-point checklist that I have to make sure that the property is up to standards. And at the same time, I only book high-end clientele, and I vet every single one of the clients and make sure that they say who they are, and I do in-person check-ins. I want to, at the end of the day, protect your asset, but at the same time, I want you to make money, and hopefully at the end of the day, we have a relationship out of this, and you potentially buy another property, or you potentially see how much money this property is making you and you take it off the market. That is the way that the conversation would go. Also, you want to make sure that there are no fingerprints on stainless steel or random stuff like that. You also want to make sure that all the appliances work. You want to see and turn on the oven. You want to turn on the microwave. You want to make sure that they actually get hot and they actually work, because nothing is more frustrating to a client or a guest when they're staying at a home and they're ready to cook and they're ready to put the chicken in the oven and that shit doesn't turn on. You also want to make sure that each room has blackout curtains and blackout shades. So you want to actually close them and make sure that no light is coming in, or it's minimal light enough for someone to sleep. There's nothing more frustrating than someone checking into a home just to find out that there are no blinds in the rooms. Now, with new development properties, most of them usually skip out on shades because it's either too expensive or they just built it just to develop it and resell it as quickly as possible with no one even living there. So they never really thought of it. You also want to make sure that there are 4 pillows per bed. You want the bedding to be sufficient and enough for someone to sleep in it. What does that mean? That means you need fitted sheets, you need a flat sheet, you need a duvet, you need a duvet cover, and you need 4 pillows. Now, there's things that you would do throughout the property to just treat it as your own. This is your home and you're hosting guests. The better that you prep, the better that the reservation would be, and you're not getting phone calls in the middle of the night complaining about how the property is. Now, there's also a plus that I find inside some homes, not every home has it, but some homes do, is a sort of game. So let's say the home doesn't have a pool, but it has a pool table. So there's a pool table or there's a ping pong table, stuff like that. And me personally, since I'm already at the level to buy it, I would buy it for the home and use it, and it only boosts the listing by doing so. Now, some homes have different features that I look for and add in that aren't shown on the listing itself. For example, when I found another home this past week, it wasn't shown on the listing that there's actually a sauna inside the home. Now, come to find out that there is a sauna in the home. That is a huge plus to have for guests that are coming in, because there is a huge trend for wellness retreats that also includes saunas, steam rooms, hammams, or gym equipment simply inside the villa. Now, once you prep the home, it's finally time to get paid. So if you got everything else right, this is the part where you would start making $3,000 to $5,000 per night, depending on the home. So this is the part where you would list the home on Airbnb or different OTAs. And I would give you an example of the different OTAs. We have Airbnb, VRBO, TripAdvisor, Plum Guide, Hopper, Expedia, Booking.com, and there are a few others, but those are the major ones that you would probably want to be on. Once you have the listing uploaded, you obviously want to come up with a beautiful title. You don't want to put the title in all caps. This is not Craigslist. This is Airbnb, and you are doing a luxury villa rental. So you want to add in the title and add in the description of the listing. So you actually want to put the photos in order from something that I call a flowing walkthrough. So for example, when you look at a photo of a home and you're looking at the front of the home and then you're looking at the foyer, what do you see in the foyer? You probably see the living room in the distance. You probably see the kitchen. So then I'm going to move into the living room. And then once I see a living room and different shots of the living room, I see the kitchen in the distance. That means I'm going to move into the kitchen. Then once I'm in the kitchen, I have the different shots of the kitchen. Then maybe I see the dining room in the distance. Then I move into the dining room, and so on and so forth. So usually what I do is money shot, living room, kitchen, dining room, any fun activity inside the house, let's say pool table, something like that. Then I move into master bedroom, master bathroom, other bedrooms, other bathrooms, backyard, and far shot to show where the house is generally located. After that, there are other things inside the listing that, let's say, Airbnb doesn't automatically check off. For example, they don't say that you have a smoke detector or a carbon monoxide detector. That's something that you have to check off. Also, there's different things inside the kitchen, like is there a blender, is there a toaster, is there cups, is there plates, is there a microwave, is there a refrigerator, different stuff like that that Airbnb doesn't automatically check off for you. And it's just, the point is to make the listing as full as possible, because Airbnb likes it when everyone uses every single feature that they offer for their listings. After that, you do the checkout process and you make sure that nothing's broken, nothing's missing or anything like that, nothing's stained. If something is stained, then you send a claim into Airbnb, which is super easy. Or if it's not stained, then you just leave it as is and you write the best review possible for your guests, and they come back because you prepped it correctly. So if you made it this far into the video, I wanted to thank you for watching. And now you finally know the process of getting the villa, speaking to the homeowner, prepping the home, and getting tens of thousands of dollars per night, like myself. If you found this interesting, feel free to drop a like or comment. And if you are interested in actually finding your own home and actually getting the process and diving deeper into it, click the link below and apply.